Happy Thursday. It is your favorite pretend chef here at the Person County Senior Center, and I am Tiff. I am the Aging Services Specialist here, and today I have a wonderful summer recipe for you. So, two things about summer. One, lots of us here in Person County have our own local home garden, which means we've got lots of cucumbers coming in. Second thing is it's too hot for anybody to want to turn on the stove or the oven, so this is a refrigerator recipe. So right here I have 2 English cucumbers that I have halfway peeled and cut into slices. If you are using some locally grown cucumbers, that skin is a little bit tougher than these English ones, so you're going to want to peel them all the way. You're probably going to need about 4 of the locally grown cucumbers, and then just cut them into slices. So I have these cut into slices. I'm going to take some salt and go ahead and season these. So I'm just doing enough salt that every piece of cucumber has a little bit. I'm gonna toss them together and let them go to the side. Now, this is a creamy cucumber salad. I know most of us are used to the local cucumbers, a little bit of onion and some vinegar. This is very similar. So, we are gonna start off with 8 ounces of sour cream. So that is going to be all of this small container. And we're going to mix that right into our bowl. All right, my recipe also calls for 3 tablespoons of mayo. I am using what I have on hand, which is some mayo packets from our lovely Meals on Meals. I'm going to do about 1.5 of these packets. That should equal the 3 tablespoons that the recipe calls for. And this is just going to add a little bit of richness that the sour cream doesn't give us. Sour cream gives us the creaminess. Mayo is going to give us that fat and that richness to balance this all out. That is the base of our sauce. From there, we are just going to season it a little bit further. I am going to use some rice wine vinegar. Once again, that's what I have on hand. The recipe actually calls for white distilled vinegar. Use whatever vinegar you have on hand. Either way, it's gonna add a little bit of tang to help season the sauce. So the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon, and I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. Yeah, that feels right to me. I truly believe that cooking is something that is done from the heart. I like to tell myself that I am a cooker, not a baker. Baker requires an exact science. Cooking is all based on personal preference. So I've got the vinegar. Now I'm gonna add just a little bit of sugar. Once again, the recipe calls for a teaspoon of sugar. I'm gonna use about half of a sugar packet that we have from our coffee station. All right, that should be about a teaspoon. So we've got our vinegar, we've got our salt and our sugar. The sauce is balanced. Now we're going to season it with seasonings. You could add some raw onion, slice it up thin, add it to the cucumbers. Raw onion doesn't always agree with everyone. So I traded that personally for some garlic powder so that I still have that allium seasoning, but it's not as strong and not as pungent. All right, and then lastly, you can use whatever herb calls to you. I'm personally going to use some dried dill weed. I think dill and cucumber go together very well. There's a reason why that's one of the more popular pickle flavors, right? But feel free to use whatever herb you have growing in your garden. If you have some basil coming up with all this rain, now would be a great time to use it. Basil cucumber would be really, really good. I am going to add, about a teaspoon of this dried dill. Remember that dried herbs are a bit more concentrated than fresh, so you don't need to use as much dried herbs as you would if the recipe calls for fresh. So my sauce is nice and seasoned. I am going to just mix that up, get that mayo and seasonings and garlic powder and sugar and vinegar, get that all mixed nice incorporated together. And once again, I already salted my cucumbers. I'm going to add them straight into this. No muss, no fuss. Get these last couple pieces out. Then we are just going to stir to combine. Like most salads, this is going to be a bit better after it sets. So I'm going to get this mixed well and incorporated, and then we are going to give it a taste test in about 1 hour after it sits in the fridge for 1 hour. All right, here is my cucumber salad. Like I said, I'm going to cover this, place it in the fridge, and be back in 1 hour. Our wonderful receptionist, Dorothy, served as taste tester today. What do you think?
It is very good and refreshing. You'll like it.
Good.